Hello and welcome to Financial Education for the Nation. My name is Warren Shute. Is it time to get out of the stock market? A lot of people are stressed out about a lot of things right now. Markets are down, prices are up for many things that we need to buy. Interest rates are rising, and it makes it a confusing time to consider buying or selling a house or making any other major financial decision for that matter. This all adds up to stress you may be feeling about your job, the ongoing pandemic, the health of loved ones. If you're stressed out about what is happening right now in the stock market, there is a better way for you to invest. This isn't a way to guarantee you higher returns. For the record, anyone who guarantees you higher returns, stop reading or turn the podcast off because it's not true. This is about having a plan for how to invest. It should prepare you for times like now, when the market falls quickly. It should also prepare you for when the market reacts and goes up quickly, like it did straight after the pandemic. It should be a plan that lets you stay invested for the long term. When choosing how much you want to invest in stocks, balance the regret you would feel when the markets go down with the regret you would feel of missing out when the markets go up. But this plan is not the same for everyone because each of us is different. We're unique. Different people can stomach different amounts of risk. That's based on what our goals are, how our brain is wired, and what we've lived through. Hey, look, my dad's 97. He likes cash. He's lived through many stock market crashes. He lived through the Depression. That was the time of deflation. Keeping cash is what he needed to make him feel safe based on his life and what he's lived. That's not my plan, but it's his. Everyone is different, yet everyone faces the same ups and downs in the stock market. So what's your plan? First, ask yourself a question. Why are you investing? It's not a plan if there isn't a goal. If you want to retire in 30 years, you may be able to bear more risk in order to maximize your growth of your portfolio than if you hope to retire in, say, 3 years. Then determine what balance of bonds and relatively more risky stocks are you comfortable with. If you reduce the percentage you have in stocks, you may feel better when the market goes down, but you have to balance that feeling with how you're going to feel of missing out when the market recovers. Focus on controlling the things that are in your control, like saving more or spending less. If you find yourself tempted to make a change, think carefully about whether you're moving from one long-term plan to the next long-term plan or just messing around. Trying to time the short-term movements in the market has more in common with gambling than with any long-term investment plan. When I look back over the 27 years as a financial planner and investor, I can make a long list of shocks that have made the markets go up and down. People are talking about high interest rates now. I can remember buying my first house in the 1990s with a 9% mortgage rate. I didn't like it, but I didn't have a choice. I needed to buy the house. We have to accept that these shocks will happen. We should prepare for them rather than try and predict them. This time there is inflation, fear of a recession, a war in Ukraine, increased volatility. We don't know when this will end. We also won't know exactly what will cause the next shock or when that will occur. The only thing I can guarantee is that we're going to be surprised, because if it weren't, the market would have factored it in already. As a long-term investor, here's the good news. You can capture the returns of the market without having to accurately forecast, which is great since almost no one can consistently do that. So that in times like this, when the stock prices go down, the market is setting prices so shares will have a better return and attract buyers. When you see a big drop, prices are lower so that going forward, the people who buy have a greater chance of having a positive outcome. That doesn't feel great if you bought Netflix in the last couple of years, but that's why I don't encourage people buy individual shares. I love that people can easily buy into the world stock market and spread their risk. When you choose how much you want to invest in stocks, remember, balance the regret you would feel when the markets go down with the regret you'd feel missing out when the markets turn around and go up. When you can be a long-term investor and think in terms of decades rather than years, you have the greatest chance of capturing the power of compounding. Those little extra gains add up over time. It helps explain why over the last 95 years, including all those shocks that have happened, the return for the general stock market has been around 10% a year. But markets have very, very rarely returned 10% in any one year. But over time, long-term investors have been rewarded with that long-term average. I think that's just amazing. But I also know it's tough to stick it out, because that means you have to get through these tough times, even when the market is going down and down. I know how stressful this can be, trust me. I've always tried to share my perspective on investing with the hope that people can be long-term investors who have the greatest chance of meeting their goals. I know that right now it's tough for many people, but I have seen over my career how many people have benefited from creating an investment plan that made sense and then stuck with it. It's not always easy, but it's the best option that I know of, and it's never too late. So ask yourself the question, what is your plan? Please remember to hit subscribe and like the show. It helps more people reach me. Thank you for listening. My name is Warren Shute. Until next time, stay safe. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please do so. There's a great number of back issues to go through, and remember, what makes us different on your financial journey is the support with access to downloads and templates on warrenshute.com, the YouTube videos and podcasts, as well as access to me, a multi-award winning certified financial planner and certified international coach. So please do engage and let's get your finances sorted together.